you get that exorcist, David?
No, of course not. You think a space priest is gonna get their asses into the edge of the galaxy? No, there's less than a snowball's chance in hell of getting a cleric here.
At least the voice has been quieting down recently.
Yeah, until it's brought up. Hey, voice, you still listening to us?
Yes. Maybe. I only half pay attention.
Yeah, see, God, I need to check on what ya. Hopefully he's fine.
He's good and dandy.
Gee, thanks, I swear. And we haven't even brought up the ship ring.
Have you noticed the energy arcs going on around that thing? It's like it's charging up.
Yeah, which likely means that something's going to be going on there. Either that or it's a lot of talk for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's still a lot, but what are we going to talk about this week?
Oh, you know, I haven't really thought about it. You know what? Brought it up in a past video. How about Monsterpocalypse?
That rings a bell. I can't recall it, though.
Neither can I.
Wait, is the Whisper watching my videos?
It is your video, so it's rather likely, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've actually started assuming the voice will actually be involved with my scripts. But yeah, I think this game was made by the guy who did that one TV production game. Either way, the company is Privateer Press, not to be confused with the idiotic Pirate Software. Privateer is a publishing company that makes several games, but primarily focuses on Monsterpocalypse, which is a war game we'll be going into. Now, the rules behind this game are totally free, and that's reason alone that I want to try it. They only charge for the models for the game. I'll be leaving a link to the website in the description, and I do recommend going there and looking into these awesome models. There's monkeys with guns. Seriously, these things are awesome. But let's get into the game. Starting out with the PDF of the basic rules, it says that you'll need the models, which will be formed of monsters, the big guys who will be your primary focus, and units, which will be made of smaller thralls. You'll also need buildings and rubble, which is essentially equivalent to terrain, which has rules for gameplay on page 22 of this PDF, it looks like. Maybe we'll actually talk about this, but at the moment, not likely. And you'll need a battle map. The default one is this here, which you'll see uses squares instead of a measuring system. There's a lot of places on this map that has special little icons. Hopefully I'll remember to actually talk about that, but this sort of map allows a lot less movement jank than what 40k allows. Now we look at the dice. Looks like this system uses d6s of 3 different colors for 3 different reasons. White are action dice, blue are boost dice, and red are power dice. You'll start them off in the monster pool and move them over to another pool as you use them. The dice will move between the monster pool, unit pool, power pool, and dice well. Now, we're going into the major bits of this game. Each die will have some special marks. Blanks are misses, single bullet holes are a strike, and 2 holes on it are a super strike. Now, let's look at how the dice work. It seems you start the game with so many dice, and you'll choose to use so many of them in order to do actions like attacks and such. Now, your targets may have certain abilities for monsters or units that can reduce the number of dice you've chosen to utilize. Looking over some of the data sheets, I can see it. But let's look at the dice now. Action dice have 3 miss spots, 2 strikes, and 1 super strike. Looks like these are used mostly for attack rolls. When you use these, you'll move them from the monster pool to the unit pool. And when you use them from the unit pool, they'll go back to the monster pool. The pool you're pulling from this turn will be your active pool, which means you can only attack with monsters or units in one turn, I guess? Looks like you'll start the game with 10 of these white action dice in your unit pool. Neat! Next is the blue boost dice. These dice have 2 misses, 3 strikes, and 1 super strike. Boost dice are rolled when a model has special abilities or special attacks. These are not for any specific pool, as you'll just grab as many as you need for certain actions. You'll add them to any action dice you may need to roll for this. Nothing more to really talk about with this one. Power dice are the last ones. This one is the largest section for these dice. They have 1 miss, 4 strikes, and 1 super strike. The power dice are primarily used for damage and environmental destruction. Environmental destruction? Oh hell yeah! That sounds awesome! Power dice seem to be earned through gameplay, with 5 different ways to gain them. One of them is landing on certain points on the battle map, which there seem to be multiple battle maps on the website for free. This game offers a lot for nothing. Hell, arguably you could make your own models with little dollar store army men, if you wanted. But these models are beautiful, and the developers of this game really do deserve a little bit. Okay, so now it goes into the model stat cards, which is definitely something we should be looking at, because this is entirely what the game is built around. Basic stats are speed, which is how many squares a model in question can move. Diagonal movement is allowed, but I don't really like that personally, as it makes what should be a circle of movement into a square. Defense is simply how many strikes your opponent will need to roll in order to hit you. Simple, ultimately. Then there's cost, which is how many action dice must be spent in order to spawn in a unit. This only applies to the smaller boys, the units. Next are attack stats. Brawl, which will have a number of white dice and blue dice marked on the card. Blast is for ranged attacks, and they follow similar, but has 3 numbers involved with it. The first number is range and shows how far away one can be in order to be attacked by this. Then we've got power stats, which only monsters have. Similar to the brawl stat, there's white and blue die options, which you'll choose up to those numbers. You don't need to use them all, so there's a major risk versus reward system here. There's still a lot here, but I haven't the time to go into it, so let's call it here. This looks like a really fun war game, and I want to try it out, and I think I will attempt in the near future as well. If they sell a starter box, I'll happily buy it, which, looking at their website, they do, but at the moment it's unavailable, unfortunately. Now, time to find what ya shove off.